Today's patio chat is being brought to you locally by Westridge Furniture in Delphus. See it all at your finer outdoor furniture store.
Well, welcome back, everyone. You know, Lima has been having a huge success lately, but there's always a little bit of room for improvement. And to talk about that is our mayor, Lima Mayor Sharetta Smith. So welcome, Sharetta.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful. It's beautiful outside. All right, so let's talk about workforce development programs.
Yes, so we are in our third year of a series of programs that we call the Gen Next program. And so we have Gen Next Makers, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute, but that is our program that is designed for kids ages 10 to 13. Mm-hmm. We also have a Gen Next Summer Youth Employment Program for kids ages 16 to 24. Yep. And then new this year, we introduced Gen Next 911, which is all about exposing young people to safety services.
That's awesome. So when it comes to, you know, educating our youth and whatnot, the important thing is keeping them here in the city, right?
Yes. So we want to do our part to stop the brain drain. And so we think that the more exposure that young people get to job opportunities, industries that are right here in Lima, the more we increase their interest in wanting to stay here when they get older to work and live here in this community.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger and I kept thinking, you know, where am I going to work? You know, I kept thinking of bigger cities, you know, better cities. But there's a lot here in Lima itself, you know, with whether you're interested in culinary, STEM, you name it. Mm-hmm. And there's always room for growth and for business opportunities that maybe they want to take up on their own.
Yes, and this program, you know, the Gen Next program, as I said, it provides the opportunity to get that work experience, but it's also paired with soft skills. The individuals learn interview skills, resume writing, financial literacy skills, and we've been able to place some young people at, you know, both large and small businesses throughout the community. We have kids this year at Wolf Boom, writing radio commercials and learning, you know, how that industry works. Yeah. We have kids at the Brownfield Center, Art Space Lima. And so we're just happy to be able to provide this opportunity to expose our young people to what's here in Lima.
That is awesome and exciting. Early childhood movement, you know, like we want this to be the best place for Ohio children to live, right?
Yes, we do. And so on those regards, on this coming Tuesday, we are going to be hosting a roundtable discussion with Groundworks Ohio, which is a nonpartisan statewide organization that does advocacy and policy work around two things: education and health care for young children and their families. And I'm excited to be able to host this as part of their statewide tour. And I'll be joined by Findlay Mayor Christina Mern as well.
Wow, that is very exciting. Mm-hmm. So getting the youth excited about education, about healthcare, and we've got great school systems and healthcare here in Ohio.
Yes, we do. We have great school systems, whether you look at our public school system as well as our private school system as well. But as you open up this show, there's always room for improvement. We know here in Lima and Allen County, you know, not only do we have, you know, almost 25% of young people live below poverty, we have 40% of kids that show up during kindergarten day one and they're not ready to learn. And so we have to do all we can, as we talked about, to prepare young people for future jobs. And that doesn't start, you know, in middle school. That starts really in the womb. And so we want to be able to get that message out, give parents the tools that they need to advocate for changes to make sure that their child is set up for the best life possible.
That is right. I love this. Just so you know, I'm liking everything I hear, Sharetta. All right, Brownfield Program. What is that?
So a brownfield is a fancy word that us bureaucrats use to talk about places in our community that may have had industrial uses that we now think are unsafe. So think dry cleaners, think abandoned gas stations. And so the city of Lima was able to secure some funding with the help of Senator Sherrod Brown from the U.S. EPA to do brownfield assessments as well as cleanups for properties throughout the city. And so right now we have 15 properties in the pipeline that are going through those assessments. And what's good about this is it prepares those properties for future development. So if you're a developer and you're looking at a piece of property, there's already some funding that will go before you to get it cleaned up so that it can be what's called shovel ready for what's to come in. So it's an economic development tool.
Okay, well, that is awesome because, you think about these buildings that once had a purpose that are no longer being used for something, and you hate to just see them sit and rot, So what you guys are doing is making sure that there's something available for the future, which I am all about development because you guys have been developing everywhere around Lima. I read somewhere that Lima was one of those big up and coming communities in Ohio. I can't remember where I read it, but I thought, wow,
yes.
Lima, Ohio.
Yes.
With all the other cities, all the other towns, and then they were talking about Lima and how the economic development and the growth within the city has really continued and has been amazing the past few years. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. And we're happy to do what we can to make sure that Lima continues to be the economic engine, for the region, for the state, and, ask me, the world even.
Yeah, I love it. So, well, Sharetta, you're doing a wonderful job, you and your team. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. All right, well, don't go away because medical news is coming up next.